All right, beautiful people. Welcome back to another amazing and impactful episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we try to live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. And as usual, on this beautiful California day, I have with me the vacationing, the smiling, the foodie, the chef, the self love queen herself. Please introduce yourself to the people.
What's up, party people? My name is Sinclair, aka Theee. And yes, as you can see, I don't have too much to complain about at this current moment. So happy to be here again.
Most definitely. I feel like on vacation, we do some really good podcast episodes. The vibe is always different. As y'all can see, we got the ocean in the background. Pacific Ocean? Which ocean?
Yes.
Yeah, Pacific Ocean. All right. Thanks. You know, geography is not my thing. Got the Pacific Ocean in the background. The vibes are completely different. Like the energy feels different. I'm a little bit more relaxed, tranquil, loosey goosey, all that good stuff. Hopefully the sound of the ocean isn't too loud. We got our editing team in the background. Hopefully y'all can make some magic out of that happen. But as usual, Queen, let's do some how was your week? How was your vacation starting? Talk to us.
Week's been great so far. I feel like last week I definitely earned this vacation. Had a lot going on, but yeah, this week it's good to. We started off, stopped by my parents' house. We had the grand opening for our second official grand opening. For our second, Dessert Divas. Yes. You always Dessert Divas. Because at first I used to call it Dessert Divas. Dessert Diva. Her grand opening happened this weekend, so it was cool to be able to support that. See our parents. Talk to Granny for a second.
Oh yeah, Granny was in pretty good spirits too. Yeah, she had a lot to say. We were also moving some furniture, and in case you were wondering, pianos are heavy.
Not wondering. That was pretty much a fact.
Listen, I didn't know they were that heavy. I thought the wheels would help. They don't, especially when it's been sitting there for like 5 years. Pianos are heavy, so yeah, the more people, the better. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, now we're chilling in Oceanside. We'll be here for a good amount of time. So yeah, we lucked out at a studio right on the beach. Like, y'all. Needed this vacation very much so. But yeah, but no, it's been a perfect couple of days. We wake up, get some work done. We're walking distance to so many things, so we'll go, get some bikes, and bike around, walk around. Yeah, it's been a pretty good start.
Riffing off that a little bit, always clutch stop by your parents' house. I feel like they spoil us with the home cooked meals. They always got 2 or 3 or 5 or 7 drinks ready for us.
Free flowing.
Free flowing. We also watched Justice League, which was a 4-hour movie.
I didn't make it.
In case I'm not going, no spoiler alerts. 4-hour movie of Justice League. Yeah, definitely didn't make it clean.
Well, I made it longer.
Almost.
I made it further than I thought I
made it to the first 3. So I remember, I was like, part 3, we'll get another drink. And then we made it to part 4.
No, I made it to part 4.
In part 4? Yeah. I think right after that.
yeah. After that, I was done.
But yeah, it was a good movie. Definitely go check it out if you have a whole day to spend.
Don't start it at like 8 o'clock at night if you're like me and you fall asleep at like 10 o'clock. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Start at 1 or 2 with a cup of coffee. What else happened? Had a good meeting with some other Black game makers. Shout out to Trap Wars, Fanfoolery, Financial IQ, Design Eye. We got some cool stuff maybe coming soon. Working all together. That's gonna be cool. I love collaboration. I love building a team, getting stuff done. So yeah, shout out to Rachel for putting us together and putting the team together. Love it. What else happened? Had another meeting yesterday where we were learning about, I was learning about Harriet Tubman, and my headphones weren't working properly. So I was like, Queen, you're about to learn about Harriet Tubman right now.
I also learned some very cool things about Harriet Tubman.
Oh yeah. Got a cool, interesting project that we're partnering with Harriet Tubman Tours out in Maryland. It's gonna be dope. And then eventually we're gonna also visit in person. I gave us a year buffer. I'm good at kind of we'll come tomorrow. Like I was like 2022, we'll head out your way. I'm trying to work on it. And the other yesterday, when someone was yelling someone else's name, he was like, "Hey," I forgot what the name was, like Clint, Clint. Wait, you forgot something. And old Devon would have been like, "Hey, Clint," but this time I was like, "Nope, it's not your business, Devon. You get out of other people's business. They don't need your help, Devon. They'll be okay, Devon." So I'm working on it.
He has a good heart, right? Anyone who knows him knows his heart. But the outside world don't always know his intentions. So I would just hate for something bad to happen to him because he was trying to do good for somebody else. Well, it's safe, let them do their thing. They'll be fine.
Yes. I'm working on it. Hey, I get kisses. Hey, listen, I'll keep on. I'll stay out of my business. I can't even talk right now. I'm getting all these kisses. You know what I'm talking about? Are we doing the podcast?
Yeah, we're live.
All right, we're live. My bad. Get back to it. So long story short, it's a good week. Definitely needed the vacation from work. But during the mornings, like she said, I wake up at like 7:30, get a walk in, get some work in, do some emails, do a little bit of planning, and then now doing the podcast. Then we got the rest of the day for vacation. So it's a good of both worlds for me personally.
Yes, that's I'm very much a person that's like, I can do nothing for a couple of days. That'd be fine. But that's not him. So we found this happy medium. Hey, if you can just be done by this time each day, I don't care what time you wake up. That's you. You have your freedom. Just let's be done by this time so that the rest of the day we can actually vacation. That's a happy medium.
There it is. Marriage, negotiation, and compromise 101 right there. But today's episode, right, we want to talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
I think we keep circling back to it because it's something that we really love to do, and it has worked for us for the most part, and that's just manifesting your future and manifesting what you want to happen. And we're going to try to make it a little bit more practical today. But yeah, we just want y'all to just manifest these dreams, manifest this future that y'all want for yourselves, for your family, for your business, for your relationship, for your future kisses. Yeah, I manifested that right there. So long story short, we're just going to talk a little bit about the importance of manifestation and a few steps that y'all can take to make your dreams come true. Queen, are you ready? All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into the episode. All right. So first off, let me get my notes. I don't want to rant too much. Shout out to this domino game that I kind of beat you in. So, sorry, Queen, gotta let people know. Manifestation. Can we talk about why it's important? And you want to go first? I go first.
Okay.
I got it. All right, cool. So I was taking a walk this morning. There was a sign that said road debris ahead, right? And you were walking. And I feel like as humans, we do a good job at when we see negative signs, we know how to react or prepare for what's coming, right? So you walk debris ahead, there's going to be rocks in the road. So it's like, okay, let me slow down. Let me pay attention. Let me swerve a little bit if I have to, all that stuff. Or again, if you get a weather report that says, it's going to be, 70 degrees windy tomorrow. It's like, okay, California, that's kind of cold. I'm good. Blizzard! Oh my God! So I'm going to wear my sweatshirt, self-love sweatshirt maybe. But long story short, if you know what's ahead, you can plan for it accordingly. The reason why I think manifestation is important is because if you know what you want ahead, like if you know in 3 years I want to buy a house, if you know in 2 years I want to get married, in 10 years I want to have kids, I want to do X, Y, and Z, you can start preparing today for what the road ahead lies for you. So for me, that's why I think manifestation is so important. We do a great job again at like looking at signs and preparing for like tomorrow, preparing for what's right ahead, but you can take that exact same thought process to our manifestation. And again, one like this concrete example is buying a house. And I think we had that plan. Like as soon as we graduated college, we were like, we want to buy a house someday. So let's start saving. Let's look at houses. How much does a house cost? Okay, it's $500,000. You need 3% down. That's no. All right, 10% of $500,000 is $50,000. 1/3 of $50,000 is about 16.5. So you need 16.5 for a $500,000 house. So you now know. Thank you. Math class did my thing back in the day. Anyway, but you now know you need to save $16,000 in 2 years to buy that house. So I just feel like for me personally, the more you're able to envision ahead of time, the more you can prepare now for that future. Queen, for you, why is it important for you?
For me, I think that manifestation is really important for everybody, because that's how you create. I mean, it's going to sound similar to what you said, but I'll take it in a little bit of a different place. But that's how you create the life that you want.
Hold on. This garbage truck is getting in the way of your amazing wisdom. Right? It did say think green on it. I respect the sustainability. But Queen, hit us with one more time. It's important.
That one's going to rip off of what just happened. But
ooh, go for it.
Even the fact that, like, right in the middle of this podcast, something came by with some type of propaganda that said, think green. Yes, it's a good thing, right? We promote thinking green and doing green things. But let's say it said yum yum donuts. For the sake of this argument. Right. Now I'm gonna want some yum yum donuts. Did I wake up wanting yum yum donuts, or did I just want yum yum donuts because that sign passed by? Long story short, the point I'm trying to make is that there are so many things that are put in your face to make you want this or want that, or to steer you in a certain direction. And unless you set your own path, your own intentions for what you want, it's going to be so easy to be like lured, by a business or by an industry, whatever it is, to do what they want you to do. And if you're doing that without really putting your own thought to it, I feel like you kind of become a little bit of a puppet at that time. Going through the motions. There's always like a phrase that I like to say is, make what you want for your life happen so that life doesn't happen to you. You don't want your life to happen to you.
This vacation Claire is a whole nother level, y'all. Vacation Claire,
let's go. That's when I need these vacations. It's super charged. But yeah, make what you want happen for your life so your life doesn't happen to you. What I mean by that is, don't wake up in 5 years and be like, how did I get here? This isn't actually what I wanted. It's just, I took that job because it came and I needed the money, or, I did that car because there was a sale that day and I just chose it. But actually think about what life do you want for yourself 5 years, and do those intentional things now, so that even if I wake up and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to have a smoothie today, then that yum yum donut sign is probably not going to lure me as much, because I already woke up and said that I'm going to be healthy and have a smoothie today. Now we're on vacation, so that's not what happens today. But I'm just making the point that if you wake up and you set intentions for yourself, it's much easier for you to stick to what you want, rather than just kind of going with the flow and doing whatever everybody else is doing, or doing whatever this business is doing because they shoved a billboard in your face. So yeah, I think that's why I think it's important, because that's really the only way that you create a life for yourself.
That was a bar. And I feel like there were some riffs that I wanted to take on that, but I loved your concept of, if you're not making things happen, that life is just happening to you. And I feel like specifically during this time, or maybe last year a little bit more specifically, but even now when we're still in semi-quarantine and we're home all day, you're consuming content via social media, via TV, via movies all day. It's like it can get kind of repetitive. And I find myself even in that, like, dang, did a whole week just go by? What happened this week? Right. And I think for us, like, that's why I love the podcast, because it forces us to reflect and forces us to manifest. But for other people, they may not have this type of platform. So we're going to go through some actual steps later on what we think y'all can do. But that was just a huge bar on, don't let life just happen to you. plan your days, plan your years, plan your lifestyle out. And you can obviously change things, right? Like when you put Google Maps in, or when you're Wazing into directions, if there's an accident ahead, like you can be rerouted, right? So if something happens, you can reroute your plan, reroute your vision, but the destination is still yours and it's still the same destination. So I love that. Queen. Yes, I'm ready. So talk to me. You've done things on like stress management and how like reflecting on or perceiving different situations can impact your stress levels. Can you recap that or talk about that again?
Yeah, so how you perceive the world directly affects how your body feels. And that is because how you perceive the world affects what you think about, right? So again, when you're manifesting your thoughts, you're very intentional about what you're thinking about. You're intentional about what you're planning, right? But if you're not as in control of how you react to what you're seeing and to what you're thinking, then what can happen is that you perceive a situation, you perceive that as, oh man, that's something I need to stress about. That's something that is a stressful situation. Your body then perceives that and takes that in as stress. And there are chemical reactions, there are physical reactions that happen in your body. There's a whole bunch of stress hormones, but there's a really important one called cortisol that is released whenever you are in a stressful situation, whenever your body perceives stress. And that can be in like a physical situation. So if you're driving and all of a sudden, the car in front of you slams on the brakes, you're instantaneously going to go into that moment. It's not something that you tell your body to do. It's a natural reaction. It's an instinctual thing. From, when we had to go and hunt food, we were, exactly. When we had to go and hunt food, we were in danger. Like we were oftentimes in dangerous situations where we had to kind of watch our back. So that's why that's such an instinctual thing that your body just instantaneously goes into. But it could be the same thing as I talked about this in one of my systems videos. You send the wrong text message to the wrong person. You get that like little heart attack.
I see, depending on the text.
Right. Ooh, your brain don't know the difference. You might as well have just seen a saber-toothed tiger, right? It does not know the difference. It goes into that like, that mode. And your blood pressure elevates. Your heart goes faster. You clench your muscles because it's getting ready to react. So your body kind of gets in control of your muscles, and that's where like the muscle clenching comes in. And yeah, there are a whole bunch of other things. You start sweating. Those are things that happen when you're perceiving a stressful situation. So if you are going through life like that all the time, right? So let's say, you lost your job, you're trying to find another one, COVID happened, you lose a family member, those are things that have can have long-lasting stressful effects. So you really need to let your body feel those and kind of let it pass so that you don't hold on to it. If you hold on to it, then your body stays in that stressful mindset and that stressful position. And yeah, it can cause a whole bunch of health issues down the line, which again, elevated blood pressure, it can stay that way, which can cause, issues with your arteries. It can cause stroke, it can cause heart attack, all of those things. So it's very important to, and now not even so much control your thoughts. We don't always have control of what thoughts that pop into our brain. But what I think is important and what I've been trying to get better at lately is what happens after that, right? So you have, okay, yes, the thought comes to your mind like, oh my God, I'm gonna crash, right? But rather than focusing on the negative that can happen, let me focus on my response because that's what's gonna keep me alive. Now that's an extreme example, but even, in just more, less extreme examples, focus on what you can control because that's the only thing that you can't control. So stressing about anything else is just added stress and added baggage that you're putting on your body that's not really going to do you any good. That was a really long riff off of stress, but hopefully that makes sense.
It does make sense. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because, and we can keep riffing off of it, but it's crazy how in your mind you perceive a situation, right? This is all invisible. This is all imaginary right now. You perceive a situation. your body reacts to that situation in a stressful manner. It then has a physical reaction to your body. It elevates your blood pressure, right? It can affect your heartbeat, your heart rate. Your heart rate goes faster. And if you do that for years, you've now shortened your lifespan off of perception, serial perception of a certain thing. So that's why it's important to know this like as early as possible, because we are going through chronic stresses, I think, all the time. And let's not get into the why we're going through these stresses. What's the word called? When you have a theory that is a crazy theory. Come on now, help me out, Queen. Conspiracy theory.
Oh, my bad.
I was inspired by your eyes, but no conspiracy theory. But a lot of communities of color in particular are put into stressful situations. 9-to-5 jobs are stressful, especially. Let me go scientific. I know you scientific. You talked about cortisol. There was a experiment done on these little monkeys, and one monkey was like the head alpha male. It was a very strong monkey, and then the other ones were like smaller ones. And whenever the smaller monkeys were in the vicinity of the alpha male, they were stressed and their cortisol levels spiked. Right, and over time they saw that the alpha male lived longer and the other smaller monkeys died earlier. So when we think about our 9-to-5 jobs, if you're not the boss, right, if you're taking directions from somebody, then you're not the quote unquote alpha male or alpha female, which means when certain people walk into the room and they give you instructions like, hey, you need to do this, or hey, what happened to this assignment? Hey, XYZ, you probably get a little stressed, right? I get stressed at work when my boss is like, Devon, what happened with this? Or when the director's like, Devon, what happened with this? Little bit of stress. But I'm now cognizant of it. So like that stress is there, but then I breathe and I let that stress go away. Right. So I'm trying to get into the mindset or the constant repetition or habit of recognizing when there is stress, but knowing how to release that stress as soon as possible so it doesn't have an effect on me.
I have another example that's, it's gonna, hopefully a lot of people can relate to it, but it's with driving. Mm-hmm. So I have had in the past instances of road rage, one could say.
One could say. Yes, she's gotten much better, but 2018 Sinclair?
Yeah, so I don't know, there's something about like, driving to me is like a microcosm of life. So like when people cut me off, I'm just like, oh, like, why did you do that? How dare you? Like, and I like try to get, honestly, in the past, I would try to cut them off back. Like that was the type of driver I used to be. Now, totally me, 100%. But now, like I catch myself in those moments. So the same thing as what he just said. I still have those moments of those thoughts of like, how dare you? Like you saw me. I know you saw me. You did that on purpose. Like, ooh. But then I legitimately catch myself and I'm like, Sinclair, I will literally tell myself in the car, Sinclair. I just sit there, I do my abdominal breathing, breathe for a couple seconds, and I'm like, they must have somewhere to go. They must have something they're going through, whatever they felt the need to cut you off. That's their issue. Now make it about you. I just breathe. And now, you know what, it happens. It happens. I still try to avoid it happening, but if it happens, it happens. And I just focus on where I'm going safely, getting where I'm going safely. That's like a very tangible example that hopefully people can relate to, where it's like, just, you can't stop your initial reaction, right? But you can stop what happens after that. You breathe, you're calm, you go through it, let the emotions pass so that you can focus on where you are going. Because God forbid you let that initial reaction get the best of you. You try to, cut them off, you're in an accident. Now you don't even get to the location where you wanted to go, all because you just let your emotions get the best of you.
Right. I was having a great conversation with Markel. Won't go into the details, but basically we can control our reaction, right? So, other people may cause stuff to us, the world, the universe, whatever you want to say, may cause things. But at the end of the day, how we respond is going to be what really matters. I'll be right back, Queen. You go ahead and keep on talking to the one.
Okay. How you respond is the most important part of the situation. because again, that's what we can control. It's what we can control, and so that's what we should really be focusing on. So again, in this thing we call life, things we can control are how we react to those chronic stresses, to things, to the billboard, the commercials, all of these things that are thrown in your face, the Instagram ads, like you are constantly being bombarded by other people's agenda. How you respond to that is what is important, because it's gonna happen, right? It's gonna happen. Regardless. So I know. So how you respond to it is what is important. If you really want that, if you really want some yum yum donuts, then go get some yum yum donut. There's nothing wrong with that. But as long as that's what you really want, and you're not just doing it subconsciously. If you get halfway through that donut and you're like, how did I even get here? I don't even really want this donut. Then that's probably a sign that maybe you weren't making that conscious decision.
Love it. So we're gonna move over to some practical steps in a second on visioning. But before we leave stress, I really feel like stress is a very important thing. Can we give one practical thing for stress in particular, how we can reduce it either immediately after something happens or even just on a daily basis? Queen, let me know if you want to go first or second.
I'll go because I've already mentioned it. And I think because it is good immediately, it is also good on a daily practice. And it's something I talk about a lot, and that's breathing. We underestimate the power. We underestimate the power of breathing because we do it all the time. But a lot of times we're not doing it effectively to really manage our stress. It's a stress relieving tactic. So I've done a couple of videos on box breaths. You can do some more research on it, but long story short, it's taking an interval of time. Start with maybe 4 seconds if it's your first time. You inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold it for 4 seconds again. And you should focus on breathing it with your abdominal. So if you're taking the breaths and you don't actually feel your abdominal moving, you're probably still breathing up here in your chest area. So really focus on like pushing your stomach out when you breathe. It's very, very effective because it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is basically the opposite of adrenaline. So if everybody kind of knows like the adrenaline rush, it's like when your body just wants to go, you want to go smash something like Hulk smash. It's like the opposite of that. It's like the brakes of your body. It's what tells you like.
So my one is going to be doing daily exercise. We're going on a daily walk because when you go on a walk or when you exercise, your body releases dopamine, right? And dopamine, it's that thing that makes you, hey, I feel good. Yeah. I feel dope. I feel good. And you ever notice like when you're going on morning walks or you're going on morning runs, and when you see other people, everyone's happy.
Right. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. How you do? Like I was on my morning walk today. Like I have my do-rag on. I was like, oh, people ain't gonna say hi to me. All these, wealthy people walking by. They're like, hey, look in my eyes.
Right.
Like, how are you doing? Right. Good morning to you. I was like, okay, people happy out here. So you okay?
Yeah, sounds funny.
Good morning to you. Or to you, yes. Nice do-rag. No, they didn't say that. But it was interesting to see that everyone that I saw in the morning doing their little morning walk, even people who there was a beautiful old couple. There was like maybe 80, 90. We saw the 82-year-old yesterday who was walking very happy. Right, she was 82, walking on the beach.
Joggers.
And she stopped by. She was like, "Did y'all walk like that when you were on the rocks?" And you're like, "No, this is great." Yeah. But I saw an older couple today, and one had like a gas mask on because she probably needed the oxygen. It was oxygen with the tubes and the tank. Walking still in a great mood, right? I love it. So as often as you can, morning walk, lunch walk if you're able to, like while you're at home working, evening walk as the sun is going down, you can get some good, sun rays going to you. But go ahead and walk. Go ahead and get a walk or a run every single day or 3 times a week, whatever you're able to do to release that dopamine into your system. Okay. Now, rounded home base here, practical steps for actually manifesting it, right? So we want people to be able to, envision their world 10 years from now, 10 days from now, 10 hours from now. What are some practical steps that they can take? I'll go one. We can go like, can't stop, won't stop. So mine, and I'll start with the radical one that I've done before, and then I'll go down to what I now do today. The radical one is write down 100 affirmations and manifestations every single day. I did this every day for like 3 months, and I felt great. I'm thinking of maybe going back to it. That those 3 months were some powerful 3 months. But literally, I am a king. I am blessed. I'm thankful. I will have 5 amazing, healthy kids. We bought a house in Chicago. Potluck has 10 chefs on the app. Play Black Wall Street sold 3,000 games. We bought a house in Riverside. We doing X, Y, Z. Like just writing down goals and manifestations that I want to happen, but writing them down as if they've already happened. And yeah, just the amount of positivity that I felt after each morning. It took a while. It took like an hour sometimes. But the amount of positivity that I felt after that, I was like, I am all these things. Yeah, we're doing all these things. Let's go. So that would be my one. And making it more realistic, what I do today with the limited time is now I do 10 affirmations every single day, affirmation/manifestation. So if it's starting with 1 every morning, I am beautiful, I am worthy, I am loved, right? Just start off with something maybe small and then build up from there.
One that I would give is to create a vision board, because that's a nice visual way for you to manifest and put what you want onto some type of physical or digital platform. So it can be a physical one where maybe you're finding images, finding and be as specific as possible. So like you want a certain type of house, go on Redfin, go on Realtor, go on Trulia, go on Zillow or whatever, and look for wherever you want to live. What type of house you want to have, how many bedrooms. Go find a house that you would actually go and buy. If you had the money, in the future, like what would you actually want to live in? Go and buy it. Put a picture of it. What type of car do you want to drive? Go find the car. Put it up there. It's hard to put your family in the future, but whatever you want. Find a family with 5 kids. Go put them up there. Because
so she said, find a family with 5 kids.
I was just giving an example because that's what.
See, the power of manifestation is so crazy, because when we first started this amazing, beautiful relationship journey, she wanted like 2 kids.
Yeah.
Right. This was back in like 2013. I would say we first started before we were married. I've got her now to say that she's okay with to nothing. She still said it though. It's crazy. Manifest.
Yes, I at least say it now. But yeah, I think it's important. Whatever you want to happen, your dream job, your dream career, your vacation house, your whatever you want. Please stop. Manifest it. Put it on either a physical dream board, something that you see every day, or if it's going to be digital, that's fine. Make it your computer background or your phone background. But yeah, just make it as specific as possible and manifest every part of your life that you want to happen.
Love it. This is going to be a slight tangent, and then I'll get back to the practical. But this is kind of practical in a weird way. What I love about when we take vacations is I feel like every time we take vacation, we always leave with a manifestation for the future. Like we were just talking about, I think yesterday, like we were chilling on the beach. We were like, would you want a beach house one day? Like, is that something that you would ever want to do? She's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind living by the beach. So it's like now we have that plan on someday, possibly getting an investment property or a vacation house on the beach. But that goes to the practical thing was, your brain can't imagine what it's never seen. Right. So exposure is key, because your brain cannot imagine something. It cannot make up an image, an object that it's never seen. Like it can put pieces together, right? So if it's seen a certain computer, it's seen a certain camera, it's seen a certain billboard, it can create one item out of all 3 of those things, but it cannot create something from nothing. So that's why it's important to, watch movies that expose you to the future that you actually want to live, to take vacations and see homes and lifestyles and eat food, the things that you want your kids to have 10 years from now, to even on social media.
I was gonna say it could be as simple as following a certain page on Instagram. Like if you don't have the resources to go to visit where you want to live in 10 years, then find the neighborhood on Instagram. Go look at what people are posting, the coffee shops that they're sitting in. Like even that is effective.
Literally, like I have a whole collection of container homes saved. So it's like I follow this hashtag container homes because one day I do want to build a house from scratch, custom. So I'm just looking at all the different things, and obviously one day the house that I build will be a collection of all of the homes that I've ever seen in my life, and it's going to be fire, personally. But get out there and get exposure to the future that you want for yourself. Like the Queen said, follow some social media accounts. You're already listening to this podcast, and hearing what we have to say, and the people that we bring on here can help also expose you to different businesses, traveling different places. Like we've been to Thailand, loved it. Been to Jamaica, loved it. Been to the French Riviera, loved it. And being able to see all that on our Truvel Forever podcast or on our Truvel Forever YouTube, hopefully that will help you explore and go other places, and definitely share where you're going. That way we can also continue to manifest through your journey. Appreciate you.
That's something we should add on to our list.
Facts. Queen, you got maybe one more practical step? Not a new one, but I think just also exposing yourself to different people that are part of, a group, right? If you want to become a financial advisor or something like that, like go find a network group, a meetup group, something of people who are trying to also who are already there or trying to do the same thing. Just getting yourself in the circles of people who are trying to do that as well will only help you get there even faster. So the kind of the same way you just mentioned having 5 kids, and now I will at least say having 5 kids, because we talk about it all the time, right? I hear him say it all the time, so naturally, like, I'll start to say it. But the same thing happens when you get into other circles, right? If someone's like, oh, hey, if you get into a circle of people who are trying to become whatever you're trying to become, and they're like, oh, didn't you hear about the convention that's happening next month? You're gonna be like, oh, shoot, I didn't know. Now you're going to a convention that you might have not even heard of if you didn't put yourself in that sphere of people. And you're one step closer. So manifestation happens in weird ways, but it's just about putting out into the world, into the universe, what you want, so that it can then help you get there. And in little weird ways that you won't even necessarily realize until afterwards. Like every time I have a meeting or a conversation with Markel, he's always talking about what's next for Rare. Mm-hmm. So, and then it pushes me to also be like, all right, well, what's next for Truvel Forever? What's next for Play Black Wall Street? And I feel like he's probably thinking the same thing. Like every time I talk to Devon, he's thinking, what's next for Play Black Wall Street? So we make sure I have something for what's next for Rare. Same thing with Daniel. He got some moves coming up. Shout out to Chelsea and Javon for launching their, what was it called? 11. Oh yeah, go ahead and find it so we can give them a shout out. It was 11 something, but they just launched their skincare brand. So I love being surrounded by entrepreneurs, being surrounded by people that are doing positive things in the community, because every time we come together, we're talking about those positive things. And because we're talking about it, it makes us want to, I think, continue to talk about it afterwards. Okay. Well, the Queen finds that, we definitely want to shout them out.
So it's the word 11 and then the number 11. That's the sum one. So 1111 organic skin food.
Love it. Shout out to Chelsea. Shout out to Javon.
I got my butter on the way.
I'm waiting for the oil, the beard oil. Help me out. But one more practical step is, for me, I've done this for a few different businesses and also life. Write down your 10-year vision, right? So in 10 years, it's kind of what the vision board is, but I'm a word person. 10 years, I want to have this. So then you work backwards. In 9 years, I need this. In 8 years, I need this. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. In 1 year, I need this. In 6 months, I need this. And it really just helps to create that vision. And obviously, things change, but we've done a 10-year vision for IMI, which has a huge vision with like living on campus. We're trying to get researchers. We're trying to do publishing. So it's a huge 10-year vision. But we started this year with the one, and that's having the website and offering free classes. Next year is by land. Oh, it's going to be fire. All right, let me stop. But long story short, get your 10-year vision, y'all. Please feel free to share it with us. You can post it and tag True Health, the number 4 ever. Put your 10-year vision out there to the universe, share it with some people, and then get to work.
I feel like the putting it out there and kind of what he's saying is like reverse engineering how you need to get there. I feel like that helps also make it feel more tangible. If you have like a lofty goal, like we have lofty goals, it makes it feel much more like, oh, well, this is all I had to do this year though. And you just focus on this. And then after you complete that, then you worry about the next thing. But it doesn't make sense to worry about buying land when you don't even have a website, right? So it's like you have to kind of like think like a video game, like you have to conquer each level before you go to the next one. Yeah. There's no use of worrying about fighting the boss in the final level if you don't even have, whatever little coins. I'm trying to think of it.
Right, but it's a good point, and I'll tie it into Pokemon because I'm a nerd.
There you go.
There's no point of going straight to the Master Head Gym when all your Pokemon are still on level 1. Right, so you go through the different steps. You go through the different gyms. You go inside the wild grass to train your Pokemon to get to level 1, 2, 3, 4, 25. They're learning different skills all along the way. That way, by the time you're ready to face the master, you're a master yourself, and you have all your Pokemon on that master level as well. Yeah?
All of you Pokemon lovers understood that.
Shout out. All right, this is going to be random, but I gave my little brother like half of my amazing Pokemon collection when I went off to college. It's 2011. Easily, this collection is worth $10,000. I looked some Pokemon up yesterday. I looked up like Charizard, looked up Venusaur, Pikachu, Lugia, and like they're selling for like $800 each card. So I hit Demetrius. So I was like, hey, Demetrius, just so you know, like that Pokemon collection is worth easily $5,000 to $10,000. If you're looking to, start your business, or you're looking to, buy a house. If you're looking to buy a house, like you can sell these and probably fund your future. He was like, I haven't been able to find those cards for years. I was like, oh, Demetrius, don't tell me that. Long story short, I'm about to ransack my parents' house and find it. I know I have a stash, so there's at least some left, but I don't know where this man's cards are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it hurt. But this is not a good transition at all. But make sure if you have those family heirlooms, take care of them, because one day they're going to be worth money, or it's just good to be able to pass down stuff for those stories. Speaking of which, self-love is very important. We're talking about manifestation. We're talking about taking control of your future. And I think all of that really comes in loving yourself and knowing that you have worth, and you're worth infinity, you're worth past infinity, and making sure that you take control of your future to help yourself and your family. So we created these self-love sweatsuits, and we is a strong word. The queen did the manifestation and the visioning and the drawing of them on paper like maybe 2 years ago. We then worked with Markel to get them actually made into physical format. So shout out to the queen for manifesting these beautiful self-love sweatsuits. Go ahead and go to truehealth4ever.com. Get your self-love sweatsuit today. We got the royal black, we got the mighty maroon, we got the breeze blue, all that good stuff, and the shades of gray, all that good stuff. Go ahead and get you one today.
While you're there, also check out the 7 smoothies to live your best life. That is now available. Haven't publicized it too much, but you get an exclusive right here. Oh, yeah. It is available for $4.99 right now. Steal it. Go and get it, because it's got powerful recipes. It's got research that you can actually learn about all of the different, not only about the ingredients that are in the smoothies, but about the different health disparities, a lot of the top health disparities that our communities face, and kind of what is happening in your body and what you can do to fight it. So it's a very comprehensive ebook. Go check it out, gift it to a friend, all that.
All that, well done. And I know we just talked about like the fact that you see commercials, you see billboards, and people are trying to get you to buy things. For us, we have been very strategic, and we only create products and we only create businesses that we, one, wholeheartedly believe in, and two, we feel like these products these messages, these affirmations will be a benefit to you, right? And like there's tons of business ideas that we come up with, but at the end of the day, we only actually take it to the next level if we know, like, no, this is gonna empower somebody. This is gonna be a benefit to someone's life. So again, go to truehealth4ever.com. Go ahead and get your self-love sweatsuit. Get your 7 smoothies to live your best life and to empower your health and to empower the health of your families. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the other side. Now, little wrap up, anything you want to say as we end this amazing, powerful podcast on vacation? I know we're in the way of getting to your powerful brunch. So it's supposed to be a powerful brunch. Of course, all our meals are powerful because we usually talk over the meals. So it something manifests. It's feeding our soul and feeding our future. But Queen, just one last note on why manifestation is important, or what you think people should do after listening to this podcast.
Think about the future you. So what, again, I've mentioned it, multiple times, but just what do you want for your life? If you don't have the answers right now, that's okay, right? But now's the time to start thinking about it. If you're really like, I haven't really thought about, a lot of times we have so much going on where we're only really focusing on the day. Like, I'm just trying to get through the day. But take some time, take a little bit extra time today. Maybe only watch one additional episode of Netflix or whatever it is, and take an extra hour today, take an extra 30 minutes, whatever it is, to actually just sit and think about. And it's better to do this without TV on, without any type of outside influences. And again, if you're doing this while you're watching TV, some business idea could come up, something could come up that can be like, oh yeah, that's what I want. But it's like, is that really what you want, or is that just what you saw and it's convenient for you to say that that's what you want at that time? So really try to, take a second, go take a walk, go, talk to a friend, whoever it is, whatever method you think is going to be best for you to really think about what do you want. So if you're like, I don't know where to start, then you kind of start categorizing things like, where do you want to live? Where do you want to live in 10 years? If it is where you're living right now, then great. But if it's not, then start thinking about, where do you want to live? And, don't think small. It doesn't have to be in your city. It doesn't have to be in your state. It doesn't have to be in your country. Like, where do you want to live? Think big. Your family, like, what do you want your family to look like? What do you want your family to, and I'm obviously saying that because we don't have children. So we would want to be thinking about, like, how big do a family do I want? Yes.
I was saying 5.
Thank you for clarifying. What type of job do you want? What type of, do you want to be working for a certain company? Do you want to own your own business? Whatever it is, do you want to run a nonprofit? Figure out what you want. You can start off by, categorizing different things. But at the end of the day, it should create this one big vision of what you want. And then just reverse engineer it, like he said, and figure out what does that mean for right now. Small steps, right? Start something small. What does that mean you need to be doing right now?
Love it. So I'll just add one thing on that because the Queen did a powerful job at wrapping us up. I would say ask one of your friends or family members, what is their 10-year vision? Right? Because I feel like, this is a very internal conversation. We give a lot of stuff for you to do, but hopefully you can give this to someone else. You can give this message or this opportunity to envision their future to someone else that you care about. So ask, your friend, ask your parents, ask your siblings, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I think that's going to, one, open the dialogue. Right? I think sometimes we talk about, interesting stuff or, the latest meme on YouTube or the latest meme on social media, the latest TikTok video, but we don't talk about those deeper conversations too much. Me and my friends do because we're weird. But ask your friend, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And then hopefully they're going to ask you that same question. And now that opens up a dialogue. And now that's also an accountability partner. You just told this person where you see yourself. They just told you where they see themselves. Hopefully now y'all can hold each other accountable for the next 10 years going. Right?
And last thing is, if you're starting these conversations and everybody you're asking also doesn't know or doesn't necessarily have that plan, it might be good to challenge yourself then too. Go find someone who does. Someone who, when you ask that question, they have an answer,
ready,
right? Because that's probably also a good person to bring into your circle, or for you to go and join their circle again, just help push you because they're already, you know, they're kind of where you're wanting to get to, right? Simply because they have a plan and you're creating yours. So definitely think about that too. Like that, as you're asking people, that should tell you something about your circle and whether that is a conducive circle to wherever you want to get to, or whether you should maybe start networking a little bit more. Doesn't mean you got to leave, you know, your friends and family or nothing like that. It's expanding it to other people who are gonna, you know, show you new things, new resources, meet new people, and things like that.
There it is. Well, thank y'all for joining us for another episode of the amazing True Health Forever podcast, where we tell you our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
And I'm Sinclair, aka Theee.
We hope y'all stay healthy. We hope y'all stay mentally wealthy. And of course, we hope y'all stay true.